We're all in for a shock this morning. Good morning, everybody. Here's me without my glasses. This morning I went and answered Straight Jacket's comment. She went and put up a bit of a blog about how she was feeling about Christmas. So it was in the middle of the night and I thought, oh, I'll go and tell her what I feel about Christmas. And I couldn't see what I was doing. For some reason I'm having a few problems with my eyes and I'm not focusing properly. And the funny thing is I'm beginning to see better nearby without my glasses. Can't see a thing out there, but nearby I can see better. And I couldn't see properly and it totally conflagrated me, whatever the word is. So this time I thought I would look without my glasses on. And I left a comment there where I said that I would do my hair, get on my face. I don't mean makeup, as you can tell, but get on my face and I would look better. So Kez wouldn't have known what I'd been like. But do you know, I've just seen 2 videos and it's made me realise that I don't need to pretend, because I'm not really like that. I want to thank DasGreGor1926 that we all know Peter and the wonderful stories that he tells. He just reminded me of a story. And the other guy is a new guy to me, but his name is, it's Gregory, but it's DasGreGor, DasGreGor, DasGreGor. And he reminded me of what Christmas was about. Not the religious part, not the money part, because it gets me and him cross. It wasn't that, it was just that for that short time people are nicer, you know, that when you have kids it is magical. I've got grandchildren and maybe not now, they're getting that tiny bit older, even though one's only 6 next month, but they grow up so quick. But it is magical if you've got a child. And so I want to say thank you, Gregory, because you really just caught me. I was just about to go into that, you know, that pity party. Well, you probably don't, but I can have a gigantic pity party if I want. So thank you, Gregory. And so to go back to Peter, geriatric. I hate calling him a geriatric. He isn't a geriatric. He's a wonderful, wonderful man who's got, you know, years of stories within him. And people say all these really nice things about him. And I bet he doesn't believe a word of them. Just like when people say really, really nice things about me. I don't believe a word of them either. Okay, if it's a godly thing, I will believe it. But what he was talking about was that he's become like a granddad on YouTube, and that young people actually write to him. And he was saying about, he told a story which in actual fact was actual what happened, but he wrote it in a story form, and he reminded us that people of my generation and his, I'm a tiny bit younger than him, but anyway, that we did not, if you were seen, you had to be quiet. You could be seen but not heard, and you certainly didn't speak to your grandparents unless you were invited to do so. And I remembered my grandpa and granny. Now my granny and my mum's mum, she wasn't a mum, she was mother. And I can say that because she's in glory now and I can get away with it. But she was mother, whereas my mum was mummy. But she was mother. And I could not speak to her unless she spoke to me first, which was very rarely she ever did that. Bar for to tell me to get my thumb out of my mouth, which I usually used to have it in all the time. But Grandpa, that was different. He was a wonderful, wonderful human being. And what is wonderful about Peter is that he brings him back to me. Just every so often for a short time, I'm in the presence of my grandpa. And my grandpa you could say anything to, absolutely anything. And I frequently did. And this I just wanted to tell you about was he used to own a toy factory. Now can you imagine what that's like for a kid? A toy factory. Now when we say toy factory, they didn't have, obviously they didn't have the toys that they have today. He used to make sooty. In fact there was a bit of a fuss about that. But anyway, that's nothing to do with me. He used to make the sooties, and he used to make board games, and do you remember there'd be on card and you'd have a boy and a girl and you used to have to dress them, so you'd cut out the outfits and then you press them over the top, you know. Yeah, you know, there were such things before these machines, weren't there? Anyway, one day, my older sister, who I loved to bits, but over the years, she was busy with her family and I was busy with mine, and we lived at the opposite ends of the country, so we didn't really get to see one another a lot. But we speak to one another now on a much more regular basis, and it's wonderful, really is. And she remembers that when Grandpa used to say, would we like anything from the factory, she would always say politely, no thank you Grandpa, that's quite all right. And me being me would say, yes, what can I have? Anyway, this particular time, I always remember he took me into the factory and he had some paperwork to do, and he said, you just stop here and find yourself something, choose yourself something. And I don't know if they have tram sheds in America, but over here in England you'll know what I'm talking about. And the factory was in a gigantic tram shed, really, really big. And the only form of lighting, besides the lights overhead, there was this tiny round window at the far end. Otherwise, it was the tram doors at the beginning. And he left me alone. And I think that is where I began to get fearful, because I remember thinking, I'm not afraid, I'm going to have what I want, I'm not bothered. And I was at this cupboard, and I was getting dolls' clothes, and you know, you should play with dolls, didn't you? But all these dolls' clothes, loads and loads. And oh, he was a lovely man. You know, his wife, that's the end of me, by the way, telling you the story. His wife never ever made breakfast for herself in his life. Even through the war years. Now, my daughter's been doing family research, and we found him in some uniform. So whether that was before he ever met her, I don't know, but I always grew up believing that she never ever made breakfast for herself once in her life. And he wanted to die with his boots on. And what did he do? He's walking through his tram shed, and that was it. But he was a lovely man. And that's why people like Peter, you know, Geriatric19, whatever, should be loved and cherished, because we don't have those people now. You know, I'm sure we're all wonderful people in our own right, I'm not saying that, but I think if we maybe cherished each other more, and if we cherished one another, we would bring out the kinder and nicer side of one another. Last time I was in hospital, I was only in for a week, and my favourite word was nice. I kept saying, oh, isn't she nice? Oh, isn't he nice? Oh, he was nice. And sometimes it can get overused, but unless people are nice to us, or should I say revert that, unless we are nice to them, it's as if we're nice to other people, it gives them permission to be nice back, when sometimes they can want to be. Do you know, before I finish, one thing I sometimes say, I have to pay my bills on a Thursday, and I ring up and I say who I am and da-di-da, da-di-da, and we get it out of the way, and then when we finish, she's going through her blurb, what they always say, which basically is thank you, we've got your money, so get lost, but they have a better way of saying it. And so I say goodbye and God bless you. And whenever I say God bless you, or God bless, don't always add the you, they sort of stutter. And they, oh yes, and you. And then one time, or if I tell them to take care, they're not used to it if someone tells someone to take care. And they go, oh, and you too. Oh yes, you too. And in fact, last week I got a wish Merry Christmas. So I'm taking all my money off me, and then they say Merry Christmas. So anyway, that's all I'm saying today, is that because of DasGreGor, I don't need to pretend that I do feel better and I do feel right. I don't know, I can't describe it. I feel better. And it's thanks to you, DasGreGor. It's thanks to you because of what you said and the way that you said it, that it brought me back from my pity party. That I was teetering on the brink. And it's thanks to you, Peter, for being the gentleman that you are, the warm, warm gentleman that you are so popular because people don't see that anymore. They don't see a gentleman quality. But because you are nice to them, you are bringing out the nice qualities. And these young ones who want you as a grandfather, you're bringing out nice qualities in them, the softer side. So thank you. Thank you. And to everyone else, let's be nice. Plain and simple message today, let's be nice to one another. Not just because it's Christmas, but because we want people to be nice back, you know. There's something that I have on my email about being nice to everyone. That's it. Be nice to everyone. Not because they are, but because you are. So bless you. Have a good weekend. You probably won't hear from me now until next week. And I might have my glasses back on then for you. I'm sure you'd like it. Alright. Bye bye. God bless you. Bye.